Alright, this is Power of Adam, issue 7. This is part of Evasion, the DC crossover where aliens invade Earth and destroy Australia. Roy Sternum is our writer, and this one is solid. I was a bit down on the first part, but this one must be where most of my memories of this being a good story came from. Cover is by our interior artist, Jonathan Nolan, co-creator of Batman's Enemy, Crossbones, and currently a member of the right-wing grift circuit. Our scene is in Australia. Adam has snuck behind enemy lines. And I wish my one criticism of this, like my one big complaint, is that it forgets to establish on this page that he is in Australia. 4 pages in, you learn it is. And it's not like a reveal or a twist. It needed to be said on this page, and it's not. Australia was attacked by the aliens. That was their declaration of war. They blew up Australia. It's partly funny and partly stupid. The aliens responsible are a group of different races that have come together to attack Earth due to its overabundance of superhumans and their interference or potential to interfere in intergalactic affairs. Animals Man and Star Fox, that is an intergalactic affair, right? So Adam has stealthily gotten into the enemy's stronghold in Australia. I hope Margot Robbie is alright. We get a decent little fight between Adam and some of the alien soldier boys. Adam can shrink himself down and whatnot, if you don't know. And this story actually started in media res. It is my favourite writing trope. We cut back and fill in the gaps between the end of last issue and this one. Adam and his nemesis, Immortus, who had been redesigned to look like an evil dentist, they were in the middle of a typical superhero fights supervillain vendetta plot when the aliens attacked Earth. Immortus proposes a truce and a temporary alliance between Adam and himself while they deal with the invaders together. Adam accepts the truce but refuses to work alongside his enemy. It is a quality scene, the bit at the bottom. Nice interaction and visual play with the two characters. Adam gets to Australia by using his hard trick. He shrinks down into a phone receiver and travels the phone lines to Australia. I hate that. I hate this trick of his, always have. It's incredibly dumb, but it is hardly Royce Sternum's fault that Adam has always done this thing with phones. We have another bit here with Adam rejecting Immortus's help, and then he goes undercover into the aliens' prisoner camp. We also cut away to Taylor, Adam's wife, ex-wife. All I could think here was that Royce Sternum thinks Spider-Man being married to Mary James is the worst thing to ever happen to the character, But if someone broke up the Bronze Age marriage of Adam and Taylor, then it has to be restored immediately. That's what we have got here. Taylor got married again, and Royce Sternum doesn't like that. He doesn't like characters and their relationships growing or developing or changing over time. He wants Adam and Taylor together again because that is what he read about in the 60s and 70s. I wonder what he thinks of what eventually happened to her. It is a good issue though. We have an Immortus scene. I said in part 1, I like Immortus, but there's not much reason for why that is. I have always defended villains that are not realised, but have potential. And I tend to see some in B or C or D-list villains, and always dislike their fate as either a joke or a corpse. With Immortus, I think it is a mix of him having his thing time. That is the setup for most of his gadgets or stories. He is mad into his time. The other thing is, and this goes a long way I reckon, a Silver Age introduction. It helps legitimise a lot of the B, C or D-list villains. Like over in Capwolf, Mr. Crowley, if he had been introduced in the 70s or 80s, he wouldn't have had the same level of stature, and it's certainly not stature born from any story with a character. It's that they have been there from near the beginning, and they usually have had more use over time. Sometimes gradual, like Mr. Crowley, or sometimes frequent, like Immortus. Immortus has never accomplished or succeeded at anything as a villain, but he does appear a lot, and he has a history of villainous schemes and mad time gimmick inventions. I think Royce Sternum was trying to reimagine him as a villain that he could be, the master planner, the diabolical genius, the Machiavellian scheme and time lords. It doesn't quite work out. I would argue the lame design is part of why, but these 3 issues, the next one as well, issue 8, they do bring Immortus to the forefront as a villain, with more to him than just a love for making a giant hourglass filled with acid, or a grandfather clock that shoots time-displaced dildos. Adam, on the other hand, next to Immortus, he is a less interesting character. I do wonder, I get the feeling, maybe, that Royce Sternum thought he loved Adam and couldn't wait to write a series. And then he started doing it and he realised that actually he wasn't that into Adam. He realised there wasn't much to him. Royce Sternum stops writing the series an issue or 2 after Evasion wraps up. Adam liberates the slave camps. Never been a big fan of that as a story. Hero liberates slaves. I'm not advocating for slavery. I'm saying it as a plot that has done far too much in comics. Even Capwolf. A double mention of Capwolf in this one. The next issue of that, which we are up to, it has that basic idea. He frees the captive werewolves and leads a revolt. 8 plots like that, really 8 it. So, Adam, he frees the slaves. Across from an advert for a comic by a disgraced sexual deviant. And on the topic of advertisements, we also have the American Gothic one. We haven't seen that in a while on this channel, have we? Good ads. Adam and Immortus reconfront each other. Now, with most of the battle done, their truce is called into question. It is no longer quite serving Immortus's purpose. But then, Immortus, surprisingly, saves Adam from an alien that was about to attack him. We continue on with this plotline next issue. I think this one is good. It's not perfect, but it's good. One of the better issues of this title. We've got an okay plot and idea here, and it is an entertaining tie-in to the Evasion crossover. I'll give it 7 thumbs up.